nothing include.
No, I'm not.
The movie's about to start.
It's ultramontane.
There we go.
There we go. You finally got it.
Doing a formation takeoff, please continue.
If you're doing a formation takeoff, you're sitting on the wing. The flight lead
Which would
gives
be
you the power run up. You run the power up to 65. You look at him. You look at him. When he nods his head, you both release brakes and smoothly go into afterburner, and he goes all the way and comes back that much. So yeah, the head nod's important.
Did that work in grammar school for you, too?
Nothing worked for me in grammar school.
Okay, well, you can proceed with the show. I'm going to go set up Facebook.
All right. So welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. My co-hosts are trying to figure out Zoom, and we have John Curtis with us. John's a former Lowellian, now lives in Methuen. And how are things way over there in Methuen?
Pretty quiet. Probably about the same as Lowell. Not much going on at the moment. Just glad that we now have an extra hour of daylight.
Yeah,
The
somewhere.
clock's back forward. Well, it's supposed to get a little warmer today, too, so we're turning the corner, hopefully.
Yeah, it's 33 right now, but the feel is 26. At least the roads were dry.
Yeah, the roads were dry today.
And the temperature's going up this week, so I think that's good. Today, in 1831, the French Foreign Legion was created by Louis Philippe, the King of France, from the foreign regiments in the kingdom. In 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was ratified by the U.S. Senate, ending the Mexican-American War. And I was reading something this morning that Franklin Pierce, who fought in that war, wrote home that he enjoyed smoking marijuana with the troops.
That'll get you through the day.
1933, the Long Beach earthquake killed 108 people. Not good. And in 2000, the dot-com bubble peaks with the NASDAQ composite stock reaching 5,048 and a little bit. Today in 1903, Claire Booth Luce was born. You ever heard of Claire Booth Luce?
I have. It escapes me what her claim to fame is.
Playwright. Journalist, diplomat. She was the U.S. ambassador to Italy, and she had to be recalled because she got lead poisoning. The ceiling was flaking off into her teacup in the morning.
Okay.
And she was picking up lead. She passed away in 1987. She was married to the publisher of Time magazine. 1928, James Earl Ray, American criminal assassin of Martin Luther King Jr.
Alleged
was
assassin.
born. Alleged assassin?
I've been doing some reading on it. It seems that the King family actually thought that James Earl Ray was framed, and that a former police officer was responsible for a shooting. Just like in any other assassination, JFK, Bobby Kennedy, there's always conspiracy theories after the fact, or whether someone was framed. Supposedly Oswald said he was a patsy, and I'm sure there were other tentacles involved in what happened.
The shooting of President Trump up in Butler
Sure.
has got little tentacles that just aren't explained very well.
No. And I'm still not convinced he was shot, but that's a whole different story.
Well, that is a whole different story.
Well, yeah. I mean, he definitely was cut in the ear, but
Yeah.
I still don't see how a bullet can just glaze your ear without catching you somewhere else. I mean, like I said, maybe it could have been shards of glass. We never did get an official report from the doctor that actually cared for him. We did get a report from, was it Ronnie Johnson, his personal physician, but he's a little bit slanted in what he has to say.
For sure, the firefighter was shot and killed.
Exactly. That's why it always, I don't want to say the word amused, but when I saw an interview with Trump the other night where he said it was a divine intervention that saved his life, well, what about the poor bastard that was ended up getting killed? What happened? And God didn't want to deflect the bullet for him, so,
Yeah.
But,
In 1940, Chuck Norris was born.
thank you,
Martial
Chuck
artist.
Norris. Yep.
And let's see. 1957, Osama bin Laden was born. He passed away in 2011.
Well, he was killed.
1958, Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone, American actress.
Yep.
One of the most replayed scenes ever, slow-mo'd, one of her movies she did where she infamously crossed her legs. But it's a PG show, so we won't get into that.
So, 1913, Harriet Tubman died.
Yep.
I mean, she lived a long time. Born in 1820.
Yeah. She was almost killed when she was a youngster, and she recovered and lived a long life.
Yeah.
And, Underground Railroad.
And I was hoping that the producer would be able to throw up a copy of the $20 bill that I'm pulling for.
I did. I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he'll put it up later. She should be on it. I know he keeps plugging for Melania Trump to be on the new $25 bill, but I don't really see any accomplishments that she's had that would make her worthy of being on American currency. But I guess he's charmed by her somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's a charming woman, but she doesn't deserve to be on a dollar bill or any bill.
The Lutheran Church today celebrates Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. And it's Harriet Tubman Day in the United States. It's Mario Day.
Mario?
Mario? The game.
I was going to say Mario Brothers.
The Mario
Yeah,
Brothers.
I know of it. I'm not a big video game person.
And it's National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day in the United States. So they weren't aware. So, the Pope has been upgraded to guarded condition. He's hanging in there, but I think
at
people
his age, it's pretty tenuous.
yeah.
Yeah, he actually released a little audio, so.
John,
Hi, Cliff.
did you have good? Did you have the proposed new $20 bill photo I sent you?
Not on me.
Oh,
Did you mail it to me?
yes.
I'll go look for instant messages. I think you sent an instant message on that.
If I did, it's a miracle because I'm not sure I understand instant message. So, weather-related action, the city of Madison, Wisconsin had a contest to name 6 of its snowplows. So the winners were Mike Snowplowski, Snow Diggity, Snow Ceratops, Ann Pathaway, Princess Leia, and Flower to the People. I thought it was kind of neat.
Things must be pretty slow
There
up
she
in
is,
Green
Cliff.
Bay.
There she is.
That's a much more attractive picture of Harriet Tubman than I've ever seen in my life.
And it's still
Beautiful
not that
woman.
attractive.
Usually they put a much older version
Yeah,
out there. I like that. Don't mess with me. I got a gun, baby.
that's her in action
I like it.
before emancipation.
Do you think they'll put her on the 20 like that?
I have my doubts, but I'd love to see it.
I'd like to see a $25 bill with Melania Trump on
We
it.
were just talking about that while you were out of the room. Why Melania?
I think it should be the spouse of the president. I know you laugh at anything that Trump has, but
No, I
he's the
don't.
current president. He's going to be here for another 3 years, 11 months.
Maybe. But why Melania? I mean, what has she done to be worthy of being put on American currency?
She's a beautiful woman. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe to your eyes she's not, but
She is. She's an attractive
I
woman,
understand
but-
that.
okay.
And she's the spouse of the president.
Michelle Obama was too.
Well, Barack didn't do it. He had, how many years did Barack have to do it? And then Joe didn't do it.
I
How
know.
is Joe? How is Joe doing, by the way? How's Joe Biden doing,
Who
your buddy?
knows? I don't know. He's probably sleeping.
How about Kamala? Where's Kamala these days?
Getting ready to run for governor
No, I'm
of
asking John.
California.
I'm asking my friend Mr. Know-It-all over there.
Wait a minute. Why Mr. Know-It-all?
Trump.
John, we're at the table. We're a team here at the table.
He hates Donald
We
Trump.
support
So how's
each other.
Kamala doing?
But you love
Word-
Donald Trump.
How's Word Salad doing?
Looks like she's getting ready to run for governor of California. She's lightened her hair.
She can't beat that guy out there. Go ahead, Cliff. Please proceed.
She can't beat who?
Newsom.
Oh, he's going to run for
He's
president.
barred from running.
He's Ronan?
Barred from running.
Oh. Okay. Kamala doesn't have a prayer. Californians, after they saw the hiccup of the Palisades fire, I mean, Palisades, California, it's like Belvedere burning down. It wouldn't
Except
happen.
more expensive.
Wouldn't happen around here. Should not have happened. And the fire chief, I want my job back. Hey, you're the only head we were able to roll. We're going to roll some more. They are red hot and mad. I listen to KFI. It's a radio station that's out in L.A., and they're not too happy with the government out there.
Yeah, but are they going to turn into a red state? Highly unlikely.
I didn't mention that, but I just said,
No, but I'm just saying they're not. I mean, if she's got a chance to win anywhere, it would be California or New York, a very liberal state.
Progressive.
Progressive.
Please.
All right.
I'm a liberal.
There you go. Well, I don't know. I wonder about that sometimes. Hey, Donald Trump supporting liberal. I think that's a misnomer, but
Yeah. So,
Eileen's here.
hello, Eileen.
Well, I just clicked her. We'll see if she shows.
Hello, Eileen.
Well, her audio's coming up.
So, President Trump is trying to bring peace to the Ukraine. I saw something on the internet that somebody had copied from X with, it showed Elon Musk and a sign saying, "Make kids, not war."
he's certainly doing a lot of that. What are you up to, 14 now?
I don't, he could be. I thought he was at 12, but 14
Well,
is entirely possible.
yeah.
But the good news is that for all those Democrats that believe in eugenics, means a lot of bright young citizens coming into the country.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about him trying to make peace in Ukraine?
I don't know if he's trying to make peace. He's trying to give away pieces to Russia. I don't know if you saw yesterday, J.D. Vance's cousin Nate came out, and he actually fought on the ground in Ukraine after he left the Marines. And he said, J.D. Vance is a nice guy, he's my cousin, but I think that he and Donald Trump are useful idiots for Vladimir Putin. And of course, we stopped aid to, we halted aid to the Ukraine, and since then we've had a couple of god-awful attacks in the Ukraine. So I don't know. I don't know whether this is solved.
Direct correlation there.
Well, if you stop sharing information and you cut off aid.
This morning, the news said that President Trump said we're about to restore intelligence support.
That's good.
Somebody last night noted that In the Korean War, President Eisenhower threatened President Syngman Rhee of South Korea that he'd cut off aid if Syngman Rhee didn't agree to cut a deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. Sounds plausible.
Yeah, Ike was a very, very popular president. I think he could have run for a third term if he wanted to, if the 22nd Amendment hadn't been put into place after FDR. And I know you had that quote the other day about, what was it, Harry Truman said about Ike,
Yeah.
poor
Yeah.
Ike. He got a lot done, though, in his 8 years. I mean, wasn't he
did.
responsible for our, what we see as our highway system and our
Yes.
roads? So, and I mean, he was in terrible health at the end of his last term. But he was probably popular enough where he could have run again in 1960 and won. So,
I think so. I think that the peace situation got muddled up by President Zelensky's appearance at the White House a couple Fridays ago.
sure,
That didn't help.
no, didn't.
And I think he was sort of encouraged in that direction by Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut.
If he'd only said thank you, things could have been different.
Yeah. Gaza?
How about if he wore a suit?
What does that have to do? You mean like
Well, you're wearing a suit, right?
right?
And what are you supposed to wear here?
Suit and tie.
Okay. And when you go to the White House, you're going to wear your underwear, or what are you wearing, John?
No,
I know you're not going to go to the White House, but if Joe Biden, your friend,
he's not my friend, and I
he
didn't
went
vote for
and
him.
invited you to the White House,
Yeah,
or Kamala, your champion,
Right.
she had won the White House,
right.
and she invited you, would you have worn your,
No, I'd wear a suit and tie.
Okay,
But what
thank you.
about, do you think
Thank you.
Elon Musk should wear a suit and tie when he goes? Because I see
Yes,
him
he
in a
certainly
baseball
should.
cap. Okay.
yes, he
All
certainly
right,
should.
but he doesn't.
And he started wearing a sports jacket last week. He's going to probably bump up to a tie this week. We'll see what
See.
happens.
Gaza?
Messy situation. I don't think they'll ever, I don't know how that comes to resolve. It's not gonna, I mean, I think Trump's vision of actually, Americanizing the place and turning it into a casino or whatever he wants to do with it, I don't think that's gonna
Well,
happen.
John, maybe you've listened, maybe you haven't.
Yeah.
I've been to Israel,
Yep,
and they are born to hate each other.
they are.
And I never saw such a thing in my life where happens every day. They just hate each other's guts, and they all look the same.
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with religion, which is unfortunate.
How do you know what religion I am? Do I have it on my forehead, my
You don't?
tie?
But we in the Middle East, you pretty much know it's, in Israel, they're the Jewish faith, and a lot of Muslims living in, I mean, there's some Jews living in the Palestinian
They
region,
tell me,
but
look at his ears. Can't you tell? No, I can't. What the
There's-
heck does an ear have to tell you?
There's
Yeah.
2 million Palestinians living in Israel,
yeah,
and they seem to be getting along fairly well.
yeah.
The blowing up a couple of buses a few days ago probably didn't help the process.
Yeah.
My personal view is that President Trump, with his turn Gaza into Riviera,
Yeah.
was not so much a serious plan as a move to try and get the nations around Israel to start thinking about this. Somebody's come up with a $58 billion rebuild plan, which has been rejected by the U.S. government, but still, we're starting to get motion. And I think he's trying to bring MBS, the head of Saudi Arabia, into the game after the previous administration tried to put him on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, I know Trump likes to cozy up to Saudi Arabia. I mean, he's put a lot of money in his kids' pockets.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you can get past the religious hatred that's in that country. I mean,
Well, didn't Joe put a lot of money in his kids' pockets in
absolutely.
Ukraine?
That's absolutely. Everybody.
Apparently not. He's broke.
Yeah.
Who's broke?
Supposedly
Hunter.
Hunter.
Well, that's because he didn't take personal finance in school, which we don't teach.
Yeah. So,
Where do you think he hid his money?
I have no idea.
Foreign bank account, I'll bet you.
Well, he dropped his lawsuit against some Trump friend because he said he couldn't afford it any longer.
Yep.
That was Hunter dropped his lawsuit. So, Department of State has issued a travel advisory for South Sudan, the ongoing war that no one pays attention to. On 8 March, the ordered departure of non-emergency U.S. government personnel and a travel advisory level 4, do not go. So, things are not good in Sudan.
All right. I'll cross that off my do not visit list.
All
I'll put it
right.
on, add it to it.
Yeah, Sudan's having trouble.
The what?
I agree, your Sudan's in trouble.
Hi, Cliff, can you hear me?
Yeah, good. You came in just
Right,
in
yeah.
time. Because
Morning, Fru.
I'm not sure I know how to pronounce
Bro, you
this
hearing us?
name.
Good morning, John. The line is a little bit crooked. It's breaking. I cannot hear you.
You didn't reset your internet.
Do you want me to call on my phone?
No, you're good. We can hear you perfect. Please continue. Back to Cliff.
You're just
No,
in,
you are muted. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Fru?
We're not going to go through that. Please proceed.
Well, yeah, but I need Fru to help me with the pronunciation of the
Then call him.
name. So, all right.
See, what makes for real terrible television and radio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
No.
People just change the channel. Continue with the program.
I'm doing what you
Mahoney.
told me to do. I'm calling Fru.
I understand, but while you're doing that, I'm
Fru.
entertaining our audience.
You've come in just at the right time to help me pronounce the head of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré.
You have to adjust it.
What? Oh, okay.
There we go.
Here we are. All right, so you pointed me to the fact that he took over about 3 years ago, and you're going to have to turn off your audio, Fru. There we go. Yeah. So he took over about 3 years ago.
The echo is coming from your side because I deleted the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
I'm ending the Zoom call.
There you go.
There'll be no more feedback. Talk to him on the phone, please.
All right. I'm not, okay. So they had a debt of, a foreign debt of $4.8 billion. And he's managed to, go ahead, work that down.
Yeah, so I'm not on Zoom, so I can just go without the video.
You
Yeah.
have to go with no Zoom, because we
All right.
can't fix it.
Okay, good.
So I thought this was pretty good. He renegotiated agreements with foreign countries that were exploiting their resources, and improved agriculture and improved energy.
Yes.
So this should be a model, no?
Well, Cliff, you should understand, and most of our viewers and audience should understand that the Western media is meant to make the general population ignorant of what is going on in Africa. They are selling their own story. Any success story in Africa cannot be carried intentionally, cannot be carried in the Western media, because that would mean that most Americans, most Western audience will look at Africa as promising. This is a 36-year-old ruler who took over power in 2020. I believe 22.
Yeah.
And when he came, the previous government had a loan of 4-point-something billions. And during that time, the Western media and France, they were saying about Al Qaeda in the Sahel. They were there propping all this terrorist movement. So when this government came in, they kicked the French out and kicked all Western out and took control of their land. Within 2-3 years, they did not take any loan from IMF. They did not take any loan from World Bank. They have built so many roads, industries, hospitals, schools, and they have paid the loan that was outstanding. Is that not really a good story to tell?
It is a good story. And
Why
also,
is it that the Western media will not talk about it? Because 5 years ago, the Western media, BBC, VOA, CNN, Fox News, they were showing people of starvation and that this place was the poorest country in Africa. Now, it has actually come up and done this without taking loan from the Western world. Is that not really something to celebrate?
it is. Also, the Ibrahim Traoré instituted his own Doge operation on the government in Burkina Faso before Elon Musk started operations here.
Exactly. They are building their own cars.
Yeah.
They took out, they have a gold melting industry now. Before they took over, gold that the French were digging there, they were selling it to the world at $200 per pound, but for less than $1 that they were giving Burkina Faso. Does the West population, they don't know this.
Yeah.
But people will sit here, they don't know anything about Africa, they have never traveled there, they look Africans, they look down on them and say you are stupid, you are ignorant. That shows exactly when we African students came here, we meet our colleague students. They had no...
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, I had quite the morning as well. Like, I went into...
Once we watch the news, we take it with a grain of salt and do our own research.
Okay, hang on just a second.
ready
Eileen,
in gear to help me.
you're still there, right? Fru,
I'm
are you
here, yes.
still there?
Just merge the calls. I'll turn the phone around so you can see the things. There you go. There's a Y thing there.
Oh, merge calls.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Perfect.
All right. I got you both on. I hit the wrong button.
Got a comment. Good morning. Joe Biden destroyed enough in 4 years.
Except for the infrastructure that bill that he signed and lowering insulin prices.
All right. Well, that's always a good thing.
That's two good things you can point out.
Except, did he sign the bill?
Probably not.
Probably
I'm
not.
listening. I can hear you very well.
Okay, good. So I was going to talk about the press. I think the American people may be onto the press a little bit. There was a YouGov survey. Only 29% say they have a fair amount or a great deal of trust in the press. 44% have at least a fair amount of trust in Donald Trump's administration. to state facts fully. So Trump's ahead of the press there. Found that Americans are more likely to see the media's coverage of the current administration as too negative. And so I don't think we have a lot of support in the United States for the press.
If this text sums it up, I think the show lost an hour of sleep this weekend. A good one.
Could I have a tissue?
Sure.
Cliff,
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is when you see any experts they bring on CNN, on Fox News, on BBC, on VOA, or if you bring a so-called expert on this show to talk about Africa, ask them whether they have visited any country in Africa. Most of these experts, they believe that Egypt is not in Africa. And if the people have that, they share that knowledge. Is that someone that you can bring on the air with credible credentials to talk about Africa? And these are people we listen to. They come here and insult Africans.
So wait, are you saying that because I've been to Libya a dozen times, I've not been to Africa?
Cliff, you have traveled around the world. You have been out of this country and seen how things are going. Not being in Africa, but you have been out of this country and watched other foreign news and watched news coming from Africa. You can make the difference. But there are some people, they glue themselves on the news here. They have not been out of this country, but they are experts about those lands. I think the first thing is you can be an expert by reading books, but you are reading what someone has written. Have you been there?
Yeah, I take your point. It's a good
And
point.
you have to be there, talk to the people, see how welcoming the people are, look at the environment. There are cities in Africa that when you see them on TV, you think that they are in Europe, but people will not project that. And they only project the suburbs. Go down south. If they are projecting those images in down the south, would you really think that America is exactly what we perceive?
Yep.
It's all the media. He who controls the media controls the narrative.
Hey, let me ask a question, switching subjects.
Is Eileen still there?
What?
Did you lose Eileen?
No, you're still here, aren't you, Eileen?
I'm here, yes.
Good. So, birthright citizenship. President Trump,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like there was an old feed on the screen as far
Yeah.
as the show. It wasn't live.
so President Trump's against birthright citizenship. Personally, I'm for birthright citizenship. But the argument is, and it's given rise to the expression anchor baby, that if you're pregnant and you deliver in the United States, your child is a U.S. citizen automatically. There's not a lot of nations that have that approach.
Is there? Well, can you name a few?
That have that approach?
Yes.
I think England is.
Yeah,
But
England
Germany's not.
had it a few years back, but before it was not. But the English are depending on immigrants for their economic survival.
So England has birthright citizenship like the U.S.
I think so, yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else?
I don't know. But the U.S. birthright citizenship is based on an understanding of the 14th Amendment, which came after the Civil War, and in my reading was explicitly written to make the point that all former slaves born in the United States were U.S. citizens. Harvard Law professor Lawrence Tribe thinks that this is a wrong interpretation, that birthright citizenship means that all those women coming from Russia to Miami to have their children those children are U.S. citizens.
Denise Perrault from Facebook says good morning. Good morning, Denise.
All right. So I thought I'd ask Fru, what do you think about this birthright citizenship issue?
Cliff, you are asking the wrong person. I think the person who can answer that question are the American Indians, because they are the true landlords.
They got birthright citizenship in about 1914. So
You're kidding me. We didn't have the Native American Indian wasn't a citizen?
The border lords
I'm asking you a question. He doesn't wait for anybody, so
and if that
I'm
is
asking
the
a question.
case, that
He's going to continue
all
just like you.
European descendants who are coming here too, is that exempted to them? If you go by that, then everyone who has come here recently or whatever and become a citizen should be the same, because there are many of us, even holding power, who have been citizens and are ruling and are writing the road. That's why I said that. Pose that question to the the so-called American Indians, who are the landlords.
yeah,
Not me,
okay.
because I cannot be biting the hand that's feeding me. That's an African proverb.
So John had a question. Go ahead, John.
I'd like to hear how everybody feels about birthright citizenship.
How? What?
Everyone.
Birthright citizenship. How
Yeah.
do you feel about it, Cliff? Then ask John, then ask Eileen.
Okay.
And then if you're in the mood, you can ask me.
John, as I said before, I'm in favor of it.
Okay, host, move on now.
Ditto. Yes, I think I believe in birthright citizenship. I think it's especially it's just not the child's born in this country and then they move back to where they're from. They grow up in this country, and I think it's highly unfair and cruel to send someone who's spent pretty much their whole life in America to go back to a country they're unfamiliar with. So.
Yep. Eileen.
Well, when I'm comfortable, I like to stay comfortable. And if it was my parents' fault, I'd be very upset with them for not doing things right. So I would like the opportunity to express my individualized, if I was born here and I was raised here, then to be able to say, like, this is my home.
Okay. So, John, the producer.
I think it's time we look at it. I didn't realize people were flying in from Saudi Arabia to have their children here. And I think that if you flew here to have your kid and then you flew home, you're not a citizen. I think we should look at that. And because this $500,000 or $50,000 green card you can buy from Trump, I think that's got to get looked into too. It just favors the rich way too much. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think birthright's great.
All right. So,
Then what is your own take? What do you say about it, Cliff?
I believe in birthright citizenship. I think that that's sort of the American ethos. You're born here, you're one of us. Other countries go by sort of a blood lineage, like in Germany, all those Gastarbeiters, the Turks that have been there since the 60s, don't get, and their children don't get German citizenship. And I think it just makes them a different group, whereas if you're born here and therefore you're a U.S. citizen, you become part of the big blob. You may have a different political view or a different religion from someone else, but you're an American just like the rest of us.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Cliff, I believe J.D. Vance's wife is a product of American citizenship or benefited from that. A birthright citizenship. I think she was born in this country to two, mother and dad that came over from another country, were here illegally, and she was born here, but she's covered under the birthright citizenship,
She
which
is.
she should be. Yeah.
Now, did you say they were here illegally or legally?
I believe they were here illegally, and then I think they gained American citizenship afterwards. But like I said, I have no problem with that, since I do believe in birthright citizenship.
So, all right. I did see over on a blog site I go to once in a while, Samizdat, a guy by the name of Perry de Hiveland, said that my prediction is 10 to 15 years from now, due to Trump's foreign policy realignment or other more local factors, several additional nations will have nuclear weapons as part of either a substitute for the illusion of being under the U.S. nuclear umbrella, or as part of a protect ourselves defense policy. And he mentioned Poland, Japan, South Korea, and then he threw in Taiwan and Ukraine if they survive long enough. Do you see that as sort of part of our future?
Comment from the audience. The illegal immigration problem has become a huge mess on purpose. The American mob has been planning and implementing these policies for decades. Back over, I think John was going to answer a question.
Concerning?
Nuclear proliferation.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. No, I mean, I don't even think it might be based on Trump policies. I mean, the deeper you get into the future, I think countries that we feel are too dangerous to have nuclear weapons in their hands are some way to get them. But yeah, I mean, the realignment and some of his foreign policies might, expedite that a bit quicker. But that's why for years we've been trying to prevent countries like Iraq and Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. But where do you draw the line? Where do you say, well, that country doesn't have the right to defend itself? That's American defense, many countries' defense for the last 50, 60 years have been based on, you attack us with nuclear weapons, we attack you, and that's considered to be a deterrent. And I think that's the only way we're going to ever have a nuclear exchange is by a mistake. I don't think, it is a deterrent as far as, obliteration by, each side. So, but, the more countries that get nukes, the more dangerous this world is. So,
before President Biden left office, South Korea was debating this issue. So it's not just about President Trump.
Right.
Fru, you got any thoughts on this?
Well, Cliff, the more, from my own naive view and what I've heard from experts, the more many countries got the nuke, the more any other country would think of invading another country. The more the threat of using the nuke will be also suppressed. Because, for example, there are some countries that we sign agreements with them to give up their nukes. They give freely, hoping that we are in a level playing field world. But when they give up their nuke, the other countries go and bomb them because they are powerless. Look now, Europe is thinking about their own defense system, that they are not going to depend on the Americans. We should equally know that the decisions that are made, you are opening and empowering other nations to seek alternatives and also not to be dependent and rely and hand their own security on a foreign power. Because time will come when they will say, it is too costly, it is too expensive for us. And those countries, once you are faced with such a situation, necessity is the mother of invention. They try to, once it gets that way, and these other countries, as they are trying to defend themselves, the market for proliferation becomes open. They will also like to sell in somewhere so that they can get their own allies. So when we say that only certain privileged countries should have that nuke, and the result has been that they have abused that privilege. People take it for a grain of salt. What happened to Libya? They gave up their nuclear this thing, and then what ended up? Is there any more Libya? Nothing.
Well, that's the example that sticks in my mind. That
So how can you convince any other nation that they can rely on us?
well, your second option is Ukraine, because the Budapest Memorandum, they gave up their nuclear weapons, and the U.S., UK, and Russia guaranteed their independence, and now Russia's invaded them. Which puts Vladimir Putin on the same level as Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's very true, and that goes. If you listen to what Professor Jeffrey Sachs explained it, then we'll look at it but differently. That the two situations are not comparable.
John had a question. John had a question here.
Yeah, how is Hillary Clinton on the same playing field as Vladimir Putin?
Hillary Clinton is the one that green-lighted the attacks on Libya when she was Secretary of State.
She
And
green-lighted.
destroy the whole continent. Now, the Europe and America, they are talking about immigration. That is the root cause. And then when we cause things to happen on the other end, if they are coming back here, because we went there and destabilized the forces that held the people there, when the people are being oppressed, now they are coming here, we are closing the gate. What message are we telling the world?
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure Hillary Clinton might have. I don't know that she can greenlight anything like that. Isn't that the president's decision ultimately? I don't think she has the power to order an invasion, where Vladimir Putin certainly is solely responsible for attacking Ukraine.
If given the book of matches, she can light anything she wants.
I
The president has to give her the book of matches.
Yeah.
And he may have. I think that's
really
what Cliff
doubt.
was talking about. What does Eileen think?
do you have an opinion on Hillary, Eileen?
Pardon me?
Oh, I guess.
Oh, it's for Eileen.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to bring up something real quick while we're on the subject of atomic weapons. Did you hear that with the DEI purge by Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, images of Enola Gay have been stricken from government websites because they confused it with LGBTQ because the word gay was in the Enola Gay. Does it get any more ridiculous than that, Cliff?
Yeah, it does. I saw some of the stuff that happened during the last administration. It does get ridiculous.
Do you know what word I'm referring to, though?
First I'm hearing of it, but I mean, John, one of your hobbies is to look at anything that can make the
No.
Trump administration look bad.
Absolutely
It's a
not.
hobby of yours.
It's not a hobby of
You
mine.
hate
It's
the
a
guy's
news
guts.
story that's in the
See,
cycle.
See, my son is fantastic. He says, Dad, they get extraordinarily mad when you're right.
But you're not. And why do you think I hate Donald Trump? Do you think I just woke up one morning and said I hate the guy?
I could take a survey from the audience. They might be able to.
I told it's strictly what happened in his first administration.
Moving right along.
So what do you think of that as a fight of? I mean, this is part of American history. This is the
I
thing that
think-
dropped the first bomb
I think
on Hiroshima.
that it's entirely possible that someone would do that,
Okay.
and it's stupid.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be my first experience of stupid in the Department of Defense.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, Fru, you mentioned Europe building its own force. Someone over the weekend wrote 400 million people in Europe are depending on 350 million people in the United States to defend them against 140 million people in Russia who can't defeat 60 million people in Ukraine. So that I think that summed up a little bit of the strangeness of the situation.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean about Russia is not fighting Ukraine? Russia is fighting the whole of Western Europe and allies. If you don't believe that is true, then I rest my case.
Yeah, well, but the actual war fighting is going on in Ukraine right now.
Well, but it doesn't matter where the battlefield is. What matters is who are the participants.
Yeah. Well, the European nations have managed to avoid putting soldiers into the field in Ukraine, so that I think that draws a distinction. If Poland was to put forces into Ukraine, then I think Russia would feel free to attack targets in Poland. And right now,
And then on that too, if I may say that whatever we are seeing from the media. No one knows what happens during the dark. When we see from the media and from a distance, we are just seeing things that are happening under the light. And who chooses what happens or what to show for us to see?
Yeah, if we keep continuing to turn on our allies and we allow Putin to take Ukraine, it's only a matter of time before he goes into Poland. That's what he wants. He wants more territory, he wants more power. So, I mean...
then he wants NATO out of his front yard.
Right.
Changing subjects, Friday we face a federal government shutdown because of lack of funding from Congress. The House has a 99-page continuing resolution, which I'm pretty sure they can bludgeon the extremists in the Republican Party into voting for it, although how they'll do in the Senate, I don't know. Do we think that the Democrats will vote to shut down the federal government on Friday?
Yes, they will. You are correct, Mr. McD. When the name Trump is mentioned, you can see the guest melting down. He's definitely got TDS.
Yeah, well, that's not accurate. Let me tell you something. Anytime you speak out against Trump, his supporters automatically go to that lame excuse. Well, he hates Trump, so he's going to say something bad about it. Which is great, because that way you can never criticize him. They'll just jump on you for hating the guy instead of, if you give a rational argument why you don't like what he's done. Look, Joe Biden wasn't perfect. He probably wasn't even in charge. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I don't support all the Democrat policies.
I'll say thank you for your comment.
Yeah. But do I have Trump derangement syndrome? Damn right I do. But with a good reason. Here's a guy that just, Mike Pence just came out with his autobiography and said during the riot in the Capitol, he was actually told by President Trump, Mike, you're too honest. Who does that? How can you respect a president that tells someone else they're too honest? We've gone from George Washington, I cannot tell a lie, to Mike, you're too honest. It's beyond me that people can still support this guy. Put in another Republican. I've got no problem. I've voted Republican all my life, but you're playing with fire with this guy. He feels empowered right now, and who knows where he sees the line. He's got backing in Congress. He's got backing in the Senate and the House. I know a former representative from Illinois came out the other day and said it's all fun and games and we laugh about it, but Trump's likely to try and stop the midterms if he gets that power. So we'll see. I mean, and he's already talking about running for a third term.
No, he's not.
Of course, yes, he is. Where have you been watching? I actually watch his speeches. Now you can say, well, he's just joking about it, but he has been talking about it.
I have not heard that at all, and the media would jump
Have
right
you heard
on
that?
Vaguely in the back of my mind.
Okay, all right.
But I go with Selena Zito.
Yep.
Don't listen to what Trump says. Look at what he's doing. And so
Well, words are very important.
if I see moves in the direction of eliminating the midterms or him running for a third
Yep.
term without a change in the Constitution, I'll be very upset.
Okay.
Okay, so John, you think the Democrats will go along with shutting down the federal government?
Absolutely. Anything to make Trump look bad. They don't have the numbers to be able to do it. The Republicans would just say, ain't happening.
Oh, wait, the Senate, you need 60 votes. The Republicans don't have 60.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
Who's got 60? Who's got 60?
Nobody.
Okay. So it ain't gonna happen.
All right. So,
But the Democrats will try like hell. Just because, I mean, the business of watching President Trump's speech last week. Kiddo survived cancer. They bring the kid up on TV and they show him. The damn Democrats just sat down, not in favor of it.
Yeah, they didn't stand up and
Am I
applaud.
angering you, John? You're banging the table. So
No, I 100% agree.
please don't do that.
Oh, pardon me.
I can hear it over the microphone. Thank you.
Yeah, that was definitely bad optics on the part of the Democrats. It was
And
stupid.
they're not taking it back.
No, they won't even answer a question when they're approached. Yeah, I mean, there are just some things that aren't bipartisan, and that's one of them. I mean, they were saying their protest was that he was cutting funding for cancer, and then he runs this kid out, in front of the television cameras. But the Democrats should have been on their feet and applauding. And then when Trump went back to speaking against something else, that's fine if you want to just sit there with your arms folded. It's a bad look. But I mean, when that, what was the gentleman's name that was let out of the chamber? The Democrat.
from Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't think of his name now.
I mean, she wasn't let
Begins
out,
with
but
an
Marjorie
S.
Taylor Greene did the same thing. I mean, she got up and
Yeah.
called Biden a liar and screamed and hollered at him, but I think we've gone in the last 50 years from turning over the keys of our government from the adults to the children. I mean, it's very petty, very sophomorish. It's just, it's not really who you want to have running your government on either side of the aisle. We need some well-spoken, intelligent, thoughtful, mature individuals in Congress, and we don't have that right now, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and the Democrats really have to find a new spokesman and a leader heading into the midterms and the presidential election in 4 years.
Yeah.
But,
Second hour issue,
okay.
because we're down to
Sure.
2 minutes here. Do you think, is the government going to shut down on Friday?
No. I think what will happen is what's happened the last 3 or 4 times that threat has happened. There'll be a last-minute agreement. There'll be a hard deadline, and I mean, not a hard deadline, probably more like a soft deadline. But they'll bicker back and forth, and then
They'll
when
cut
push
a
comes
deal.
to shove, they'll cut a deal. Yeah, I think that's what will happen.
Any thoughts, Fru, on the continuing resolution?
Well, Cliff, I think if sense get into people, they know that they are playing with people's lives, that people depend on that there are some people on the street that send them there to represent the common good, not their personal good, because they don't feel the pain that the whole population face. They will make the right decision that will keep the government going.
Okay. Eileen, you have a thought?
My thought is, if the government shuts down, is it going to take even longer to get my tax return? Because I'm a little upset about that still.
Absolutely, it'll take longer.
Hey, we got to go up with this home run, Mr. Curtis. The amount of childlike behavior from both sides is terrible look for the country. Going off to break land. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thanks.
So long. Eileen, you have a thought? Absolutely, it'll take longer. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. My co-host Eileen Delrossi is doing bus mother duties this morning because the bus driver is out sick. Our guest is John Curtis from Methuen. John,
Long-time Lowell resident, too.
yeah, John is important because in the minds of some, we tend to be a little conservative on the show, and
Little. Go ahead.
there's John. Weather, well, when I got here it was 33 degrees with a feel of 26, but it's warming up and it's going to be warm for the next couple of days. I think that's all good news.
More importantly, it's lighter out later. 7 o'clock last night. We saw daylight.
On the other hand, I had to turn my porch light on when I left the house.
Right. Well, that'll just quickly change.
So, in weather-related, the city of Madison, Wisconsin had a contest to name 6 of its snowplows. I thought it was kind of neat. I'd like to see something like that here. The winners were Miss Mike Snowplowski, Snow Diggity, Snow Ceratops, and Pathaway, Princess Sleia, and Plower to the People. So,
Yeah. I think Ann Plathaway and the last one, Flower to the People, are probably the 2 most original ones.
So I think we should have something like that here in Lowell. Although we do a lot of hiring of people to do plowing here in Lowell. John, did you find that item from Eileen?
Yeah, I'm looking at what we're having for lunch today at the Rogers School.
Nice.
Pretty cool. Today at the Rogers School, they're going to have skim milk, ketchup, mustard, honey mustard dressing, barbecue sauce, mayonnaise, Italian dressing, ranch dressing, popcorn, chicken, potato, a dinner roll, ham, I might go across the street, ham chef salad, ham, salami, and provolone, sun butter jelly
Just tell them you're
sandwich.
volunteering. You're there to tutor and volunteer, John.
Hey,
You'll fit in
baby
perfect.
carrots, good stuff.
John,
What?
enough. So, Eileen, tell us about this
You don't
new
like graham
website.
crackers, Cliff, okay.
Eileen, tell us about this website. Hello, Eileen.
She can't see it, Cliff, so you have to describe it,
I
please.
think she,
I'm sorry. I was on mute.
Okay.
I was just saying also that John would fit in perfectly. Just say he's a volunteer over there, and he could pretend that he's getting a free lunch. Talk to the kids. So say your child is on bus, say 37, right? And it's running like 5, 10, 15, 25 minutes late. And it's a cold morning, you don't want your kids standing outside. It will kind of give you a heads up on when to go.
She picks
Go out to the
37,
bus
doesn't
stop
exist.
and wait. Additionally, if there's oftentimes buses have a different bus number, or there's a substitute bus driver or a substitute bus that they're using, so it updates them on whatever bus number is going instead of that original bus number.
And what's the name of this website?
It's under the transportation tab, Lowell Public Schools, and it's called Live AM. Transportation and live PM, either buses or transportation, I believe it is.
Okay.
Maybe when she comes on Friday, then we can press the buttons together, because I'd like to know, where is the bus for the Sullivan School right now?
Which bus?
Never mind. There's already
So
too
you could
many
go
buttons to play
the
with.
Sullivan School, you could scroll down or hit just Control F in that screen, I think, and you could put in Sullivan, and you could see all the buses for the Sullivan.
But I'm clicking on the website right now, and it's not liking my clicker. So that's why on Friday,
Okay.
Cliff, make sense?
Fool
We'll play
around
with
with
this
it
on
just to
Friday?
make sure I have it right.
Cliff,
What? Friday?
we'll play with this on Friday?
Yep.
Thank you.
John, did you catch the exchange between Maine Governor Janet Mills and President Trump over trans athletes and federal funds?
I did, yep. I
Yeah.
saw it. Look, my position on that is I think Trump, it's going to shock a lot of people. I think Trump is right on that issue. I don't believe individuals born a man that transition to a woman should be playing in girls' sports at any level. We just had Gavin Newsom come out, governor of California, saying the same thing, which is, shocked a lot of people. He's considered pretty hardcore liberal, where he'd come out and actually take, I don't want to say it's the majority opinion of the Democrats, although that's the way the vote went. I think there are a lot more well-thought, mainstream, middle-of-the-road Democrats that don't believe that. He could be positioning himself for a run in 2028 where he believes the Democrats have to move a little bit more to the center. And for her part, she stood up to Trump and she said, "We'll see you in court," which I don't think necessarily means she believes she was on the right side of the issue, but that's the way things are handled in this country. They go to the courts, they're litigated, and then, accept the result until you send it back to the courts because you didn't get the right decision that you wanted. So, I'm
a little worried that Massachusetts is taking the view, the government of Massachusetts is taking the view that we're right and the administration is wrong, and we don't have to worry about it because the courts will back us up. That no one's looking at the possible impact of this on federal funding coming into Massachusetts.
right. And it should be. Because Trump's not going to have any problem halting federal funding for states that don't agree with him. And on this issue, I kind of support that. Look, it's a social issue. There are a lot more important issues in this country we have to be dealing with as far as the economy and
I
defense
just
and
want you
spending.
to all know I just passed a gas station coming up 3A in North Burica. It's called Gibbs Gas Station, and the gas was only $2.77 a gallon.
Outstanding.
Not bad.
That's great. $2.13 a gallon.
77. 230. I
277?
wish. Yeah.
I thought you said
Thank you, and I'm sorry for interrupting. I just got really excited.
How about your eggs? Buy any eggs lately?
Oh, yes, last weekend I was horrified. I think I paid $7.99.
Where'd you shop?
Up in shop. And I also had I had Anthony and his little brother Landon with me. So, they needed to pick their certain kinds, but I was going with the cheaper one. Most of them were $9.99, $8.99.
I was gonna say Stop and Shop has to be the most expensive
Shop and Shop
place.
is a little more expensive,
Yeah.
but
That's why we have Market Basket.
That's right, because Market Basket, it's under $3, but you only buy two
Two, right.
cartons.
Right.
So,
It's Joe Biden's fault. We all know that.
no, I just think it's nature.
Mine
So,
too.
Maura Healey does understand using the power of the purse. There was an article, I don't know, Boston Globe. Healey cannot commit to funding towns fighting the MBTA housing law. So that's Drake it, for instance.
Yeah, I've been on, when I go on George Bogue's show and Drake It, the Drake It Connection, he's discussed that a lot. It's in the forefront of a lot of his shows that he's doing recently. And you know what? He explained it on his show, and I still didn't totally understand the whole gist of it. It's kind of convoluted, and it's, it seems like these towns that they're not going to go along with it, but they're not being punished, so they have no need to go along with it until, the screws are turned and they're forced to. So I don't know. I don't totally grasp the whole idea, but
Yeah, well, I think Maury Healy's going to turn the screws.
yeah, possibly.
In the meantime, just down the street from here, they're going to put a 39 apartment building in on Gorham Street,
Yep.
the old Heinz Tavern, and there'll be no parking because they're close to the train station.
Genius.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did see where President Trump is pulled back $400 million from Columbia University because Columbia and Barnard colleges are not taking care of Jewish students who are being assaulted by anti-Semitism. So there's a use of the power of the purse.
Yeah, didn't he also destroy the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts because he had a vendetta against them for some reason? Trump's got
I don't think he destroyed them.
Well, I know a lot
He
of...
changed the leadership.
Yeah. Look, I think Trump really needs to, as much as I don't like him, a lot of his orders are based on getting back or, undoing wrongs that he felt were made against them. I know he's gone after some law firms recently that supported Hillary Clinton, who represented her, Jack Smith, the attorney. He took away money. He went after him, and it's just.
What about the FBI's New York office? They replaced the head there.
Yeah, he's put a lot of people on the chopping block. There
was a reason for that, I think, because the New York FBI office was withholding information from DOJ about the Jeffrey Epstein imbroglio. And
I don't think President Trump wants anything released as far as that goes, because I think his name might pop up a few times in that list, and he might be implicated. So we're not going to see a whole lot on that. I think that's going to quietly die out. But when you start getting retribution, I mean, even look at what the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was replaced by Raisin Kane.
Yeah.
And you'll probably know more about this. Is from what I understand, this is the first time we've had a 3-star general in charge as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So, if you want to talk about DEI, it's happening on the other side as well. I mean, in this case, I think it's a lot of unqualified. I think a lot of Trump's cabinet picks are unqualified. From Pete Hegseth to Linda McMahon to Robert Kennedy. I mean, these are just people that had no experience.
Who's qualified to run DOD?
The Department of Defense?
Yeah.
Was qualified to run
Was
it?
Les Aspin qualified when...
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these cabinet posts, they're just people that live in the shadows, and the public doesn't really know too much about these people. But I think it's kind of amplified right now as far as what they're doing behind the scenes.
So, I mean, Robert Strange McNamara,
Yep.
who became the Secretary of Defense when I was a cadet, and we were all led to believe that he was doing a wonderful job. He brought in PPBS, planning, programming, budgeting system, and that was a good thing.
Yep.
And he was causing people to have to use computers and to do a better job in the high-tech area. But then he got the Vietnam War
Yeah.
badly wrong. So that was the other part of his job as Secretary of Defense.
Right.
So,
I think a lot of people got the Vietnam War wrong, including President Johnson. I mean, I think the American public was lied to on incredible levels during the Vietnam War, from the Gulf of Tonkin to, a lot of the skirmishes there and what caused it. So I don't know. I just think hopefully there's not a lot of damage going to be done. But when you start appointing cabinet members based on what you watch on Fox News and other darlings of the right that he praised on Trump, and he said, all right, well, I'm going to give you this cabinet position. Even look at RFK Jr. He's switched a little bit on some of his proclamations as far as vaccines, but he came out and said, well, we've had a big measles breakout in the South, and he said, oh, that's happened quite a bit in the past, and he was repudiated and said, no, it hasn't happened a lot in the past. We'd pretty much eradicated measles in this country. And now I guess he's encouraging people to get the vaccine. So, I don't know, maybe he's being enlightened at some level, but we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. So, the journal Education Next did a survey of 850 high schoolers and reports that 36% say their teacher either often or almost daily argues that America is a fundamentally racist nation. That doesn't sound like a good thing, Eileen. Does it to you?
No, but I think you could take racist any way terminology you want, right? And so you could say that it's racist towards women, it's racist in color, it's racist in all these different ways. It just is. Unfortunately, you can't change a country from what it's kind of been like. Unfortunately.
Well, you can change it, but the process in some instances is slower than others. Look, we talk about civil rights in the 60s and 70s against, black Americans, but you're right. Look at the women have been discriminated in this country and still to this day continue to be. It doesn't seem like ancient history, but in 1974, I believe, a woman couldn't get a credit card issued to her unless he was co-signed by her husband or like a father, a male, figure. Talk about being on the low end of the totem pole. So look, this country is improved. By leaps and bounds as far as where we've come in race relations in this country. Is there still systematic racism in this country? Sure. I think you see it with police officers. I think you see it in day-to-day life, but it doesn't mean it hasn't improved. It doesn't mean we're better off than we were, say, 50, 60, definitely 100 years ago. So, a lot of it is up to individuals to change the mindset. So,
how about the attitude of about America? Should we be optimistic that we're moving in the right direction, or pessimistic that we haven't gotten there yet?
Eileen, do you want to take that?
In terms of children, is that what you said?
In general, I think.
In general.
In general, I think that we do, in the fields of education, I just feel like we do all that we can for all children in this country. I know there's research saying that no matter what, an educator or a teacher has their own biases, which is true for really any individual person, right? But as a whole, when I look at teaching, when I look at all that we do for students, and I know one of the worst things I could possibly say is I don't see color. I feel like I don't. I look at these students, all of my students, they are they could be my child, right? And I think that's important, and that we put their learning needs and social emotional needs on the forefront, and I think we do a very good job of that. I don't think there is that when it comes to our children in the school systems. I think every educator, every system are doing all that they can for all of our children, no matter what their background is or how they came into this country.
Yeah, and it's not just about skin color either. You can extend that to one's religion. Anti-Semitism is a big problem still in this country. So we just have to be a little more particular about who we choose to represent us. But you can't legislate morality.
No.
Was Pete Buttigieg a good pick, Mr. Curtis? No, I don't believe so. I don't think he was very well experienced. But I know when we had a lot of those train derailments and disasters, he was blamed for it. So who do you blame now when another plane went down yesterday somewhere?
Was that right?
Yeah, I think.
State auditor by John Keller yesterday. John Keller is a blue underwear Democrat, in my opinion. By that I mean the first thing he puts on in the morning is his party. It's up on YouTube. It was very interesting. Thank you for your comment.
Don't make that go away. Read that again.
The state auditor was interviewed by John Keller yesterday on Channel 4.
Oh, okay.
It's up on YouTube. It was very interesting. And that's our sunrise in the background.
Very nice. So do you want to do the announcements right now?
Yep.
And then I'll do the city council.
Well, that's a good idea. I just got lunch in this morning. So let's go over to lunch. Well, I got to get rid of Eileen's picture. Okay.
Oh, did you hear that, Eileen?
Well, it's in the background. I got to get it out of the shot.
Did he say something about the spaceship that I live on?
No,
My spaceship?
he was going to get rid of Eileen.
Go ahead. Tell us about the spaceship.
I didn't hear what he said, honestly.
Okay. Let's do the lunch.
All right, we're going to do the lunch. So today is March 10th. And so if you go over to the seniors, the Lowell Senior Center is proud to have lunch 7 days a week, unless it's a holiday. We're closed on holidays. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but today is the 10th. Spanish chicken. All you got to do is head over there around 10:30. Only rule is you got to be over 60 years old. If you got $2, give it to the gal at the door, a nice woman. Her name is Tara. Just give her your $2. If you don't have the $2, just tell her you don't have the $2 and she'll give you a ticket. And you go into what we call the great room, hang out there with a bunch of people your age and above. And at 11 o'clock, they serve out the feed bag and you can be walking out of there at 11:30. It's a good time, 7 days a week. They also have breakfast. I should get somebody from the senior center to come over and talk to us someday.
Just want to know how you would tell a chicken is Spanish.
So I got a lot of stuff going on this week. Where is this thing? I'm going to open all these guys. Okay, so coming up this week is the fabulous breakfast that they have. State Rep Rodney Elliott, the folks over at the Bridge Club are having a fundraiser at Lindsay's this week. It's going to be Saturday, March 15th, this coming Saturday. $50 a ticket. Great breakfast, and I got to do some work on this. If we don't have a funeral, I'm going to try to put it on Facebook Live, but I got to talk to Bob Cox and see what his thoughts are. But anyway, this coming up this Saturday at Lindsay's, $50 a ticket. At honoring Tom Shanahan, they're going to have the Heavy Quinn dancers there. Saturday, March 15th at 9 a.m. So good fun to be had by you. If you take your smartphone out of your pocket, put it in camera mode, zero in on this QR code, it'll bring you to a website. You can buy the tickets right online. City of Lowell, town of Tewksbury. I don't care where you live. If you get a letter from your town about census, send in your census. The federal government I'm thinking it's the federal government. The more people who live in your town, the more money they send you. Has nothing to do with Lori Trahan, has to do with how many people live in your town. So send back your census, please. Tony Yachinsky, Cadillac of a guy, in delightful Drake. Tony for Drake. He's having a party, Tony Yachinsky, on Sunday, March 16th, noon to 3 p.m. at Primo Pizza, 149 Parker Ave in delightful Drake. Donations will be accepted. Next Monday, slide this down just a tad. Slide it up so I can see the whole thing. Okay. So, 6th annual Guy R. Constantine Shamrock Dinner, Monday, March 17th, 2024, 4 to 8 p.m. All tickets sold at the door. Adults, $12. And vets and kids, $6 at the Tingsboro Sportsman's Club. If you put in your GPS 90, your global positioning system, your electronic map in your car, 90 Westford Road in Tingsboro. And the proceeds benefit the Shriners Hospital, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and Hidden Battles. In loving memory of Avis Constantine and Brian Garno. This is a really good opportunity for a lot of people who might be a little down on their luck, looking for a job, and especially for a kiddo looking to get out in the workforce. There's going to be 60 companies coming to the old Wang Tower, Middlesex Community College, downtown Lowell, formerly the Wang Tower, a long, long time ago, on March 25th and 26th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you got a kiddo in the family who wants to get a good government job, it's a good way to kick the door open and get in there, whether it be working for your town hall or your law enforcement. What do you got?
You said Wang Tower?
No, he did
Thank
it
you for the
first.
correction, Cliff.
Yeah.
Would you like to correct me on anything else?
No, he corrected himself. It's the Middlesex Community College.
Okay.
Yeah, he caught himself.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you.
We don't have time for me to do everything.
Cliff's hobby is correcting people. That's why he wasn't a school teacher. Look, for all the school teachers out there, if you want help correcting papers, Cliff's your man. He loves it. Okay, so the moral of the story is March 25th and 26th. If you're looking to get a new career, we got a great place to go. Come on down to Middlesex Community College, 33 Kearney Square in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Take your smartphone. There's a QR code right there. A lot more information. Eric Gitchie is having a party. Still don't have a copy of his ticket yet. I should send him a text and ask him for a copy of this. Send me a picture of his ticket. Thursday, March 26th at the Mount Pleasant Golf Club, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Donations start off at $25 and go up. And you can donate online. There's a website right down here. You can click on that puppy right there, and it will bring you to the donation page. Moving right along, health fair in Tewksbury. If something's ailing you and you're over 60, I'm understanding everybody's got to be over 60 to go into the senior center. So you're over 60 and something's ailing you want a free checkup, think about going out to the Tewksbury Senior Center, 175 Chandler Street out in Tewksbury, from 1 to 4 p.m. on April 9th. If you have a question about this, contact Susan Timmons, or if you want to be a vendor to show off your stuff, same thing. Contact Susan Timmons, that's her phone number down the bottom there, and she'll be happy to enlighten you about what's going on at the Tingsboro Senior Center, their health fair on April 9th. Danielle McFadden, she's running for school committee woman at large. The committee to elect Danielle McFadden invites you to Danielle McFadden Lowell School Committee Candidate at Large Campaign Kickoff Party, Thursday, April 3rd, 5 to 8 p.m. Mount Pleasant Golf Club, 141 Staple Street. So hope to see you out there. Looks like a fun time. Yeah, that is my last. The last one. There's no more. So that's it. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay. City Council coming up this week. There's going to be some subcommittee reports. In one of them, Eric Gitcher highlighted the issue with parking in the new MBTA zoning district. So that issue is still alive. And Councilor Yam noted the importance of opportunity for ownership, an issue that seems to be lost on the people down in Beacon Hill. Motions, Eric Gitcher's got 2 motions with regard to fire hydrants. Apparently that fire that you had up on the camera, John, about a week ago, they started to run out of water pressure while fighting the fire. Not
Welcome
good.
to Lowell.
Also, Eric Gisher wants the city council to revisit the MBTA zoning requirements for parking.
Thank God.
Councilors Noon, Yem, and Chow, they want the mayor to proclaim April 17th as Cambodian Genocide Remembrance Day to recognize the 50th anniversary of the fall of Cambodia. And Pol Pot went out and killed a couple million people. Council Robinson, city manager coordinate cleanup efforts in our business district utilizing workforce volunteers and public works resources when the spring thaw comes. That'll be good. Councilor Yem wants the city manager to plan an event in conjunction with Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day in honor of the Tuskegee Airmen. It's 4th Thursday in March, and he wants a proclamation on the same thing. I support that. Wayne Jeunesse, city manager, provide proper outlining, a report outlining structural inspections performed on all city parking garages in the last 24 months, or any inspections or activities with regard to falling concrete in multiple garages. I did not realize we were having falling concrete. Fortunately, I haven't heard of anyone being hurt yet.
I'm going to guess the falling down of the tunnel in Boston, the ceiling falling on cars.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time we take a look.
I
Good
think.
idea.
So, Councilors Dakota and Scott have a motion to rescind the 14 January vote to demolish the Smith Baker Center for the specific purpose of issuance of an RFP with strict time and financial parameters.
What are your
to see what
thoughts
we
on
can
the
do.
Smith Baker Center, Cliff?
I have 2 minds. On the one hand, I'm worried that it's so expensive that it's probably time to tear it down. On the other hand, it's a great historic building. It's got good acoustics, and I think we should try and turn it to purpose and preserve a little heritage here in the city.
John, do you have any thoughts on the Smith Baker Center?
I don't
As
know
a
enough
former
about it,
Lowellian?
so I'll go with Cliff. I've never been in the Smith. I mean, if it's got good acoustics, can we turn it into is it dilapidated inside, or is it still in pretty good condition?
Well, it's dilapidated on the outside.
On the outside?
Yeah.
Sounds like it might be a
And
nice little
on-
concert
On
venue.
my end, there's a song from the Disney movie called Frozen. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We need the parking. Even if you did rehabilitate, spent tons of federal money on it, Trump sends us $100 million to fix the Smith Baker Center. Where do you park to go? There's no parking. Let it go. Back to you, Cliff.
If you came up with, excuse me, something to go in its place that would provide jobs for people in Lowell, I'd say let it go. But I don't hear anyone saying that Elon Musk is bringing a
But you see,
new.
Cliff, under the current rule, the city, they can have a taste of their own medicine. put up a gigantic apartment house there with no parking, saying, oh, they're not going to park on the street. They'll walk to the garage. And the city councils will have no place to park. That'll be cool.
Speaking of waste,
No
why,
place to park for your meeting, city council, because you put up this gigantic building. Nice job.
yeah, speaking of waste, as
Election year.
I was coming down Central Street, and all the trees still had lights. They were covered in lights that were lit up. Do those go away at some point, or is that a year-long thing now? I mean, they look like Christmas lights, but
No, they're all clear lights. It looks lovely.
they're not powered by electricity? Or are they just...
The ones I saw were powered by electricity.
Oh, okay, I was gonna
Maybe you
say-
saw some candles. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no, I was going to say, I mean, isn't that pretty wasteful? I mean, to have them on...
So are streetlights.
Yeah.
I think we should
They
move
serve a
to
purpose, though.
streetlights that are motion sensitive.
Yeah,
Is my mic still working?
Yeah.
Okay.
flickering.
Speaking of that, somebody posted something on the internet that Governor Healy is very concerned about electricity. How did they put it? Democrat.
I think you shut your mic off, Cliff. You got your wish.
It
And
died.
take the other one over there.
Do you want
Take the
to
one,
grab
take the
that
one
one?
that's doing your phone. I'll toy with that later.
So Maura Healy says they have a energy crisis because it's impossible to get natural gas. On the other hand, back in 2022, she was bragging about blocking natural gas pipeline that would be just wasted. So I don't know what the story is on that. Under speaking of energy savings, if you're an owner or renter with a 1 to 4 unit building, they now have a new no-cost service, the Home Modernization Navigator, and you can call. There's a number 844-253-2695.
Can you tell me, before you do that, Cliff, what are these navigators going to do? Move your house, or what are they going to do, the navigators?
Energy programs, technologies, and services that can help save energy, cut energy costs, and make homes
Are
healthier.
they just going to give me an estimate, or are they going to do it?
They're going to point you in the right direction.
Oh, okay. I already get, there's ads on TV for that, too. Thanks.
And it's online at navigatecleanenergy.com. The phone number again, 844-253-2695. And there's a virtual kickoff on March 12th at 6:30 p.m. And if you go to navigatecleanenergy.com, there's Lowell Kickoff is one of the tabs.
We're getting a viewer from Brazil this morning. Scotty McGrath tuned in. Just sorry, he tuned in on Facebook. So good morning, Scotty. You look marvelous. I love your videos.
So
Watch it from Brazil.
Winterfest was a success. There were 850 people that went to the soup competition. 3,000 attended the Mosaic Arts Market. There was a music tent with 11 bands, and we spent $7,025 advertising this thing. And then finally, of course, there's going to be a secret squirrel meeting at the City Council to talk about Hamilton Canal Innovation District parcels 2, 3, 4, 5, the Salopoli companies. So where are the Democrats going? I mean, James Carville says they should just sort of stand by and wait for Trump to implode.
Could happen, but I think you have to be proactive instead of reactive.
There's the progressive leader out there, AOC, is she gonna?
I think we lost Eileen.
I think we did. But she has to go to work. She's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, and embraces Democratic Socialist label. She was asked about capitalism. She said, to me, capitalism is irredeemable. I don't think she likes capitalism.
No, but she enjoys the benefits of it.
She does.
I mean, there's something to be said for, I mean, there's a difference between socialist and communist. I mean, I liked Bernie Sanders, who was never shy about calling himself a socialist Democrat. But I don't think AOC is the future of the Democratic Party at all. I said it's going to have to be a moderate. But it's early in the process, so I mean, there's only a few that stand out to me right now. I think maybe senior senator from Georgia, John Ossoff, is a possibility. And maybe Josh Shapiro, the governor of, was it Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Who was considered as one of the people under consideration to be Kamala Harris's running mate before she went with Tim Walz. And then I'd say the only other one that really stands out right now that is probably definitely going to run in 2028 is going to be Gavin Newsom. So, who, by the way, I'm not a big fan of. At one time I kind of liked him, but I think he makes Bill Clinton look like an amateur when it comes to the moniker of Slick Willie. I mean, this guy is. I've seen him
He's
interviewed.
a pretty good liar.
Yeah, he's a phony, like a lot of politicians.
If he hadn't gotten divorced from Kimberly Guilfoyle, that would be a plus for him.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a plus that he did leave her. She's not all there now, and well, now she's not even with Donald Trump Jr. He left her, so.
Yeah. You don't like. Oh, I wanted to ask you to define the difference in your mind between socialist and communist.
And while he's pondering that question, Scotty McGrath is chiming in from Brazil. Let me put this up on the screen. And he says, difficult to get the news about what's happening in Lowell, Massachusetts, but I can always count on City Life. Thank you for everything you do, John and Cliff. Thanks, Scotty. Good to hear from you. Please proceed, John.
I think there's a clear difference. I mean, I think socialism is just a state of government where you believe that it's just the people are they believe in universal health care for one. Lower drug prices. They basically believe that the and I don't think it's a myth that 1% of the richest people in this country are the most riches are controlled by the 1%. Communist is I mean, it's a form of government, but communism through the years is the government itself has slaughtered millions of people. I mean, it's been responsible for a lot of death and torture. So I mean, I don't think to compare socialism with communism is fair. I mean, there may be some underlying similarities, but I don't think you can compare the two. But like I said, I don't think we have to worry. I think Bernie Sanders was the last best hope for Democratic Socialists, and he's not going to run in 2028. I mean, he'll be well into his 80s by then. So
let's be careful. We talk about people in their 80s.
Let me just ask both you guys, why don't politicians take questions? There's elected officials that got a microphone stuck on their face, and they run into a closet. They just can't. I got to go. He pushes the microphone away. I got to go to a meeting. Look at Sweetheart. There's 1 million people watching this.
The worst one was Adam Schiff.
Well, but nobody calls him out on this. Not even the media calls him out on it, because the media knows if we call them out, they'll kick us out of the building. They can't do that. They can't. You have a right to be there. They just close the door right in your face. How's this okay? You call the city council, it goes to voicemail, they don't call you back. It's not
Oh,
okay.
I get good response from city councilors.
That's, well, why don't you get them in here to visit us? Please.
Elizabeth Warren, our senior senator, and
The scold.
sort of echoed by Lori Trahan. Is she your U.S. rep?
Yeah, I believe she is also, yeah.
She says that the rich should pay their fair share. And then she goes away in a puff of smoke. What is a fair share for the rich?
Well, what's she paying? She's rich. She's got more money than anybody in the room. Comment from the audience,
That's easy.
James Carville should shut up. How about his mixed messages on Joe Biden? Thank you for your comment.
I don't know why he should shut up. He's a brilliant political mind. I mean, you got Bill Clinton elected.
Yeah, he is brilliant.
Yeah, he is.
And he's able to operate with the opposition
Right.
because
Yeah.
he's married to Mary Madeline.
Exactly, yeah. Yep.
So I look at the number, and the top 1% are paying 39% of the income tax that's paid in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is James Carville. He's got a radio face. Whoops, I'm sorry, it's not on your screen. Press the button a bunch of more times.
Corporal Cue Ball.
Yeah.
He's got a radio face.
Well.
He's a radio guy.
He's also pretty old right now, too.
Yeah, the Raging Cajun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was running a political campaign,
Yeah, you'd
And
want
I
him
could
on
get
your
him.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He's
Absolutely.
80 years old.
Yeah.
oh,
He's been around.
Why
just
don't these
a
old
Jeep.
timers just give up the microphone? Come on now. Why don't they just give up the microphone? These old timers. Let it go. Move on. Let a 40-year-old.
The same thing about
Right now?
politicians.
Yeah, I'd like the 40-year-old to be here, wouldn't you? I'm just asking the question.
You got someone to replace me?
No. We're looking for a
I'm
40-year-old.
only about 10 years younger than you, Cliff.
We're looking for a 40-year-old.
Well,
I consider myself young. Today's my wife's birthday. She's 3 years older than I am
Oh,
today.
happy birthday, Martha, and many
Yeah.
more up. What'd you get her? Or is that a secret?
We're going up to Barmakian and we're going to get something.
Barmakian. Oh, nice.
The jeweler up in Nashville?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Skirting the sales tax.
No, I pay the sales tax when I pay my income tax.
I'm just kidding you, Cliff. Just kidding.
So, if you look at the chart,
Yeah.
the top 1% are paying 39% of the income tax. What is their fair share?
Well, she's another one who doesn't take questions. Lori Trahan. Did you try to when you went to her town hall, did she take questions
Yeah, she took questions.
from you?
She didn't take my question.
I knew that. So I mean, it's fixed.
It looked fixed to me because they said that there were a lot of questions, because I submitted mine early, they said a lot of questions, yours might not get asked. Only 2 of the early submitted questions were
Reminds me of the days
asked, the rest were all dial-ins.
Marty Mann wanted the questions I was going to ask him before his appearance on every radio show. It's just that wasn't my cup of tea.
yeah. I think a lot of people who have a complaint with the 1% and the rich paying their fair share are pointing out the loopholes and the overseas funds and the hiding of some of their wealth. And I mean, even Trump has talked about being able to take advantage. I mean,
And yet, they pay 39%.
they do. They do.
It's not their rate,
Right.
it's the amount of money.
Look, at my belief has always been if you wanna start pumping some money into this country, I think we should start taxing all religious organizations. You don't think if we tax the Catholic Church, we could raise the national debt? I mean, especially when a lot of these religious organizations want to dip their toe into politics. If you're going to do that, then you should pony up. But I'm sure many people would disagree with that.
Yeah, I
Because-
think that would brush up against the First Amendment.
So
I
we'll
got
have to
2
change
checks
that
here.
amendment.
What a shocker. A government project over budget and not on time. Then we have, can Mr. Krieger get the manager on City Life? I don't think even Jesus could do that.
All right.
I used to play softball with him.
Nice guy. Terrible manager.
Why do you think he's a terrible manager? Or do you have a personal vendetta against him?
No, personally, I like the guy.
Oh.
He's a nice guy. My problem with the guy is if you want something done, you
Yeah.
have to call a city manager. We have managers in Lowell that know the water pressure's really lousy at the fire hydrants. They know that. If I was Golden, I would call the guy who runs the water department and say, WTF?
Yeah.
Why did you not tell me the water pressure is terrible at the fire hydrants? But it doesn't work that way. Mr. Manager, I need someone to check the pressure of the fire hydrants. A manager is a manager. Any of the managers that work for me do their job. I'm not gonna find out the faucet's broken in this bathroom at this funeral home when I walk in there and turn the faucet. They're gonna tell me right away.
Yeah. Now have you?
And that's what people do who work for you. He said, so that you asked for an example, I think that's what you asked for.
Yeah. Have you asked him to be on the show? Have you
Yes,
had
I
a
have.
personal sit down? And he refused.
Doesn't answer my calls.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you had actually talked to him at one point.
Well, I call him, goes to voicemail.
Oh,
I know he can look on his phone. It's
Right.
Like when I call you, you know it's me.
All right. So you've actually never had a discussion with him, though? You've never talked to him personally?
I have talked to him personally,
Yeah.
not about appearing on the show. If I see him public, I'm not gonna
Right.
badger him. He already knows I've asked him.
I have been in the outer office and asked for a certain member of the cabinet to come on the show and never heard back. So there seems to be a trend here.
How about taxing the university? Just got a text on that. And tax the universities. How about CTI pays taxes? All the not-for-profits pay taxes. Well, let me just put this out there. I'm not an advocate. Let's give the government more money. Nobody out there seems to care
How do
the
nonprofits?
way the city blows. The city of Lowell, blows every tax dollar that you all the real estate taxes, meal taxes we send into the city blows that. Gone. All the federal money, Lori Trahan brings a wheelbarrow of money in here. They blow that too. State tax. Maury Haley, look at all the money I'm giving Lowell. They blow that too. And when they run out of money, they go, oh my God, Lowell High's gonna fall into the canal. Let's go borrow money to finish that project. Great management system we have in Lowell.
The idea of taxing nonprofits, if they're funded by the government, then the government is just recycling the money. That doesn't make sense. If it's a nonprofit that's supported by contributions, then you're just taxing the citizens that contribute. So I'm not sure. Chris Murphy from Connecticut,
That's
He
one of those
seems-
terms I don't like.
what?
I'm not sure. What are you sure of? That's what I'm not sure. Well, what are you sure of? Give me what you're sure of.
I'm sure of Jesus.
Are you?
On the other hand, John Curtis isn't.
No, I don't see how anybody can be sure. No, there's no surety. It's faith, but that's about it.
Well, the dollar in your pocket, you don't believe in that?
Absolutely. It's tangible. I can see it and I can hold it. I don't
The
have
faith
to-
that there's value behind it. When do you think are we going to Fort Knox? I'm gonna
Yes.
love that day. Do you know when we're going to Fort Knox?
No.
See, I think that's just gonna be pushed off and pushed off and pushed off.
So the Democrats' unfavorability rating reached a 16-year high, and I think that that's something they're having to deal with. Let's see, I have a number here. 57% unfavorability among voters, and that's Quinnipiac. Republicans have a 43% favorability rating and 45 unfavorable. And I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's really being too impressive in the eyes of the American public these days, either side.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, as much as I'm worried about maybe Trump overstepping his powers, he doesn't have a mandate. I mean, he didn't win the popular vote by more than 2 million, so, it's basically half the country loves the guy
Yeah.
and half the people don't. So, I mean, there's checks and balances and,
No, it's not half.
what? Half what?
Half the country hate the guy.
I didn't say they hated him, but they didn't vote for him.
Half?
Yeah, he only won the popular vote, I think, by less than 2 million,
Let me
which,
show you. One of my colleagues gave me this for a Christmas present. It's a chance to just show it off a little bit. And you might not be able to read this. It says, Trump, better coverage than 5G. Can you hear us now? The red of the, that's where he won.
and it's
You
not
like it or you
and
don't?
it's not a cult.
Let's focus in on this for a second. I got an email,
Yeah.
and it had this picture. It claimed it was from Lowe's. And they said if I took a survey, I could compete to win a toolkit. And when I was done with the survey, they asked me for $10 shipping cost. So I gave them my credit card, being the fool that I am. And there was a bit of a difficulty in getting approved I didn't understand. And it turned out my bank put a freeze
You
on
put it
the
down,
action.
Cliff. You can put it down. Thank you.
The what?
You could put it down.
The bank froze the transaction and is issuing me a new credit card, which will arrive at the end of the week. So I don't know if this is a real Lowe's thing or not. I'm going to
Probably
stop
not.
by there today. But if you get something like this in the mail, be careful about it.
Yeah. and
Well, the same
especially-
thing when
goodbye.
you get an instant message from somebody. Look at this. And 45 clicks down, you're finally going to be able to see something. I don't like that
Everything
either.
can be faked, especially on the internet.
So
But
tomorrow, we're going to have Bobby Hoey's going to be here, and a guy by the name of Scott Landry. And very interesting man, Scott Landry, so I hope he can make time to see us tomorrow. Time is short, boys.
Cliff, happy Monday. Yeah.
Yep. We are over. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.